Hi everyone, it's Kristen Burke. Welcome to my week 4 instructional design product analysis presentation. This week, as you all know, we were asked to find and share an example of a strong design in an instructional product, an example of a weak design, and then a revision of that weak design that shared some of the strengths as the strong design that we selected. I searched through a lot of the ID portfolios that Shannon shared in Blackboard and looked at a lot of different kinds of products, including e-learning modules and micro-learning lessons and a lot of different kinds of technology-based technology-based learning. But I ended up choosing infographics just for the purposes of this assignment. That I like that they are concise and visually impactful. So this first example is one that I believe to be a relatively effective use of graphic design principles that we've discussed in the class. Firstly, the color scheme is purposeful and relevant to the topic. The greens, reds, purples of the veggies, the pictures of the veggies in the background help highlight the benefits of plant-based eating, which is the purpose of the infographic, and it creates a visually appealing background to the instructional parts of the infographic. The font choices work, they're fine. The heading is inviting and bold, and then the body copy text is clear, easy to read. I know it looks sort of small on my presentation, but at regular size, it's quite easy to read. The icons for each of the sort of facts about plant-based diet benefits help the reader easily retain information by creating mnemonic pathways and bold connections to these specific bodily effects. Um, the infographic was presented as a job aid in one of the portfolios I viewed, and I can definitely see it being helpful for like a dietitian or a nutritionist in helping their learners realize and remember the positive impacts of these dietary choices. For the weaker design, I selected this infographic, which lists the steps to safe lifting. This was also a job aid presented in one of the portfolios. I think the concept is good, but I noticed a few problems. For one, the color scheme just doesn't seem to have much meaning or impact. The colors are seemingly sort of random, and some of them are really low contrast with the information on them. Um, and so I think they probably don't meet accessibility standards. The typography is okay, but also just doesn't seem intentional. The layout of this design I could see it like almost working. I can imagine a version of this where the little branching arms sort of mimic the action of lifting. And when I initially saw this one, I kind of thought it was going to do something like that, but it really doesn't. It just doesn't work. The layout, it just seems again, just kind of random. It doesn't fit with or doesn't ostensibly fit with the topic or help the learner remember anything besides the big orange numbers. But truly, there's just too much text and information, I think, to make this sort of design work because of this large circle and then trying to sort of cram all of these different steps with all of their instructions in this small space just isn't, it just doesn't have balance and doesn't give the reader guidance. The steps just sort of get lost in the design. And so to revise the week design, I drew ideas. You can see, I think, that I drew significantly from the stronger design example, I used a numbered step-by-step layout, which I think just does a better job of delivering that hierarchy than the circle with the branches. I added some images to help illustrate the different steps of safe lifting. I used a more muted background color, but left the numbers in the bright orange to draw attention to the steps still and to help lead the eye from step 1 all the way through 6. I kept most of the original language of the infographic since I'm certainly not an expert in safe lifting, but I did try to revise a little bit or some of the clunkier wording to help the reader understand each step. And like in the stronger example I shared earlier, I can imagine this version being useful for learners in offering visual support for, sometimes vague instructions about body movements and positioning. This version is a little bit more polished and intentional than the original. Still imperfect, as I am an imperfect designer, but I think a bit better than what we started with. Thank you for watching. Bye.